Module 2, safety as the foundation. Lesson 2.1, safety changes everything. The nervous system learns through experience, not pressure. Pressure creates a sense of rush or hurry, resulting in setting bars too high for where you are currently. You have to accept, respect, and love where you are right now in your journey because you deserve that, regardless on if you just started your journey or if you've been at it for a while now. Respecting where you are is detrimental to your progression, to your growth. You have to be able to look at yourself and go, wow, I'm beginning this, I'm new at this, and it's going to be amazing, and I have to start somewhere. That's what you have to tell yourself. I have to start somewhere. So when you're looking around at people that are further along in your journey than you can't compare yourself to them. You can't go, wow, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, guess what? They were where you are. I was where you are not too long ago. So it is very possible to get there. And if it's possible for that person, it's possible for you. So don't ever compare yourself to somebody else. And everybody, works through things at a different pace. And some of us have been through more severe trauma than others. So that's going to take a little bit longer. Maybe some of us are set back. Where I started at rock bottom. And I'm talking rock bottom. I had nothing. I had no home. I had no money. I had nothing. I was rock bottom. And I used to compare myself to other people all the time. Well, why did they get this? Especially those who did me wrong. I'm looking at them and I'm going, well, here I am. I'm a good person. I haven't done anybody wrong. My intentions are not ill, and here these people who did me very wrong are getting everything they ever wanted. Things are going great for them. Okay, well, that's because they're the ones that gave the trauma. They're the ones that put the trauma on you. They're not the ones that have to heal from it. So you have to remember that your starting point, whether it's right now dead beginner status, like you need a change, or if you're already along in your journey and nothing's clicking and you just, you need to figure out the pieces to put it all together, you have to respect exactly where you are because you're not those other people. So your system works completely different. And each one of us is going to work differently. And that's why this is more of a blueprint than it is an actual course, because I'm giving you the tools and the systems and everything that you're going to need, but you need to apply it to your life in the way that works for you. And that's why cookie cutter methods don't work. Something that's put out there for everybody across the board. Here you go. It unfortunately just doesn't work that way because, again, some of us have been through more severe trauma. There are a lot of you out there that have been through far more than what I have, but that doesn't disregard what I've been through. And there's a lot of people that have been through less than what I have, and that doesn't disregard their journey. Do you know what I mean? So we're all starting somewhere, and trauma is trauma. It doesn't matter how severe or how mild it is, trauma still has to be digested and taken care of the same way across the board. It's just that those of us with deeper trauma, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to push and get, to a spot where we're okay, where those with less trauma, obviously it's not going to take as long, to get there. So you really have to take care of yourself and really just love yourself through it. That's it. And it's going to get frustrating. There are going to be points, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. There are going to be points that are going to be frustrating as hell. And you're like, is this even working? Like, am I wasting my time? But I can promise you that you're not, because I know that it's going to feel that way. But I promise you, you're making progress all along. So appreciate where you are right now and just look forward to moving up from there, So when we're first starting, making things gentle and easy will create habits that are sustainable long term. Even the small moments of safety matter as they will multiply and grow into bigger moments. And that's what we're looking for. So again, it doesn't matter how teeny tiny, and you want to start with little teeny tiny, and I'm talking simple habits added to your day that is, that flow in with ease, not going to stress you by adding it on to your day, just by doing little things like that. It's, let's see. I lost my place. Hang on a second. Let me get it back. Oh yes, making everything gentle and easy. So when you make things, when you stack it all on, like I was saying with this whole course, if you were to take that and you were to read it all and stack it on top of you, that's gonna make it very short term results, because you're going to feel like you're making progress. Okay, I got all this down, man, I'm doing really good. 2-3 weeks later, all of a sudden things aren't so easy anymore, and it's becoming draining. So by doing little tiny things, adding little bitty things, we're going to go in that over that later in the habits chapter. But just doing little tiny things throughout your day, it gives you that little win. When you do that little thing, it feels good. So you do it, you want to add more on, or do more. So making it gentle and easy, and things that you enjoy, with a result that's going to bring you that dopamine hit, that's going to make you, feel good and make you want to do it more, then that's what we want to go with. So gentle, easy, um, is what we're looking for. So, when you feel safe internally, it will be reflected externally as well. Safety in both the mind and body will allow you to feel safe anywhere at any time. Feeling safe is knowing for a fact that no matter what the situation you may find yourself in, you can calmly assess the situation in a calm and regulated state of mind. So, feeling safe internally is not only going to make you feel good, but when you feel safe internally, externally, you soften, you relax, you're better to the people around you, you enjoy your environments more. So, really finding that stillness and that safety inside is what we're looking for. So, feeling safe is knowing for a fact that no matter what the situation you may find yourself in, so you can calmly assess the situation. Sorry, I kind of sped through that, but um, again, like we had gone over before, feeling safe is knowing for a fact that regardless of what you're going through, you can be in the scariest situation or the shittiest situation. And it's like, wow, at the end of this, I'm going to learn a lesson, and then I'm going to wait on what's for me. So when you feel safe enough to take a moment to slow down and pause to think clearly, you can trust yourself to make the right choices. And if for whatever reason it doesn't turn out like you had hoped it would, it will always be okay. And that's the name of the game here. We want to make sure that regardless, we know how to handle ourselves, we know how to handle the situation, and we know how to take a minute to really think about it. Not judged off of what somebody else thinks, what somebody else wants, but really think about it. So, um, and know that you're going to be okay. In the end, regardless, you're going to be okay. You have made it through 100% of every hard day that you've ever faced. And here you are. And there's going to be 100 more or more. But knowing how to handle yourself and knowing how to handle the situation and knowing that you have your own back through it, that's where it's at. So, remember that a delay in your plans is always redirection, so you can reassess and continue to figure it out as you go. So many times we don't feel like the progress that we're making is going anywhere, So, a lot of times we get frustrated, we get mad, we try to rush and force the process. But what's happening is that delay is for a reason. That delay, we are all running. We think we're running on our time, but we're not. We're running on God's source universe, whatever you decide to call it. I kind of flip around through through all three. So, excuse me. But God's source universe has a bigger plan for you, and it's not on your timeline. So your job is to take care of yourself and the system in which you run in, and let God's source universe take care of the how. So when you have a delay in your plans, it is just redirection to where you're supposed to be. If you had forced and rushed it, it probably would have gone wrong, and something would have crossed, and it wouldn't have happened for you. So just remember that you're always right on time. You're not behind. And I never knew what that meant, right on time. It means that you're right on the path where you're supposed to be right now. In your healing journey, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. There's a timeline that we can't even see. So your job is to take care of you and take care of the things here. And you let God, source, universe take care of the how and the why on why things aren't going exactly how you plan them to. So often we look for that safety from an outside source, meaning things that are outside of us. We look for comfort in what feels familiar in other people, environments, objects, or places. But the issue with that is that if we continue to do that and those things aren't available, we panic and spiral. It's then that we overthink, ruminate. We don't know what to do, how to stop it, or where to even begin to start to stop, or start to make ourselves feel comfort and safety. So that's a big issue for a lot of people. A lot of people depend on others for comfort. So when you're going through something stressful, uncomfortable, um, you turn to other people to calm you down, to, make the pain go away, make the ruminating go away, make everything calm inside. Or you could have a certain environment that you go to, and that environment brings, all of those things as well. Or maybe you have an object, I don't know, your pet, something that when you're stressed, you go to that object, and, that object is what brings you peace and calm. The issue with that is that when you're on your own and a stressful situation comes up and that person that you're normally relying on to bring you that comfort isn't there, you don't know what the hell to do. You start spiraling, you start, your brain starts deteriorating, going downhill as far as, clarity and being able to process things um, and just keep you going for the day. So the point is that if you're relying on other people, places, and things to bring you that comfort, you are always going to rely on those people, places, and things for the comfort when you need it when you're on your own. So, when you when you learn to rely on yourself for those things, you can stand alone and know that your decision is 100% the best decision for you, and you can trust yourself because of that. You don't look to somebody else to tell you if that's what you should do. You don't look to any other advice. You do what's best for you solidly, because people have a way of trying to convince you of things, but you really have to turn all of that off. um, I've had people try to convince me that I need them. I need to, rely on them. And it's like, no, no, you don't. Absolutely, you don't. And I used to be a very dependent person. I relied on everybody for everything as far as my emotions went. If I was sad, I had my people I went to when I was sad. When I was upset or mad, I had my people that I went to. And even with the narcissistic relationship that I was in, at the time, I ran to him for the comfort. And here he was abusing the hell out of me, but I still, because it was more comfortable, I went to him. And so therefore, when I was on my own and couldn't handle it and he was being a jerk, I had nobody to go to comfort myself except for him. And so when you detach yourself from that attachment, now you're relying on yourself. Now you're that person. Now you're not looking for that comfort or that trust in somebody else because you already have it in yourself. So this is such an empowering move for you to make. And it's one that's going to carry you through for the rest of your life. And that's a promise. It's an incredible feeling once you get there. So I'm so excited for you that you made the decision to go ahead and move forward with bettering your life and bettering your mental health and your brain. And yeah, you're going to take off and fly after this. It's going to be great. So, when we remember that we can be all of those things and more for ourselves, that's when the game changes. The switch flips, and we fully love, respect, support, and trust ourselves from the inside out. And that's what we want here. We want full trust in ourselves so that we can make good, solid decisions and not question that. A lot of us, all the way through adulthood, we call our parents, if you have your parents still, or you have a good relationship with your parents, you call your friends, you call your siblings for everything. What do you think I should do? What do you think about this? I don't know what to do. And then you're looking to those people for the answers that you already have inside. You just have to dig deep enough to find them. But a lot of people don't want to do the work to get there. So, um, this is so great for you. And I'm so super excited. So, let's move to the next page, which is our facts. I put together some facts and some gentle practice for you. So, small relief is meaningful. Celebrating even the teeny tiny wins will give you a little dopamine hit for the motivation and also relief for your nervous system because with repetition, your subconscious is on board and in full support mode. This is profound because that feeling of relief becomes addictive, causing the rise in dopamine, the focus and motivation hormone, and a drop in the cortisol, which is the stress hormone. The perfect combination for success and for settling the foundation for or setting the foundation for a solid and ever evolving growth mindset. So it's all about balance in the mind, and it's all about balance in your system. A lot of us don't even know that it's not a balance. We just assume that this is how we work and this is how it goes and this is how I am. And they rock through life that way, but that's not how it has to go. So the body learns safety gradually over time. This can't be rushed. And the way that the body learns safety is by experiencing safety over and over and over and over again. So when you put yourself in situations where you might feel safe today, you might feel safe tomorrow, next week, but then all of a sudden it's going to pop up to where you're not feeling so safe. That's why we want to go ahead and iron all of that out, regulate your nervous system. And that way there's nothing popping up to jump scare you when you're not expecting it. And so your body never fully relaxes if you're always expecting what you've already experienced. Like for me, for example, in the abusive relationship that I was in, both my marriage and the one following the narcissistic relationship following, my body was so on edge all of the time. I had no idea what safety was because even when they would provide me with a week or 2 or 3 weeks with that safety and comfort, boom, it came right back again. Something would come up and they would, go ahead and show me that I can't trust what they're saying or doing. And then my body is recording that. So now my body doesn't trust not only myself, but my body doesn't trust them either. So that causes even more chaos in your head and in your body. So a repetition, if you've been in an abusive relationship, it's going to take some time to realize that he's not coming. She's not coming. They're not coming through that door. They're not coming to get you. And that I still work on it now. Like I find myself rushing through my kitchen chores and I'm like, he doesn't even know where you live. He's not coming. He's not coming to yell at you about the dishes in the sink. Slow down. You know what I mean? And I have to consciously remind myself of that. So your body remembers that because that's what you've experienced. So in order to undo that, you have to show your body and show your brain that it is safe and that nothing is going to pop up. You do that by eliminating the things that are going to stress and pop up in your life. Sometimes you have to walk away from people in your life. I had to do that with a majority of people in my life. I found myself when I was around them feeling, my energy was off. I felt uncomfortable and I didn't realize it at the time because I thought these people were my people. I thought they were my friends, but there was always something off, And so when I stopped being around that certain group, those people, my body started to realize like those things that were happening when you were around those people, it's not happening anymore. Like it's not happening. So you're safe. And so it takes a long time. My body, it took her a long time to realize like that you're okay. So again, gradually, this isn't something that's going to happen in 6 weeks or even 2 months, depending on how deep your trauma is. For me, it's taken a couple years of steady work. That doesn't mean that I'm in steady, years of miserableness or, I was for quite a while, but that was because that's where I had started. But it comes to a point where you just flow, and the more stressful times are going to come and they're going to go and you're going to realize like, hey, I handled that a lot better than I would have 6 months ago. shit, and so I do that a lot. I'm like, wow, I am so impressed with myself on how I handled that, or wow, I actually made that decision and I feel solid on it. Like, so your body takes a long time to learn. Again, your body, it's deeply stored in your body. So, brief regulation moments retrain stress patterns and neurons that are hanging out in your brain, just waiting for connection to start communicate with others, um, forming new neural pathways. So, um, after you're injured or after traumatic, long-term chronic stress, traumatic stress, abuse, all of those things, your neurons, which we're going to go over. It's my favorite part. I love talking about neurons and neuroplasticity, but you have neurons hanging out in your brain and they're waiting to make new connections. When they make new connections, that's called a neural pathway. And so that's how our thoughts and our behaviors and our habits form. And so the ones that we already have, they're good and solidified because unknowingly we've been solidifying them our whole lives. So now we have to take that and turn it around and start to build new ones that will eventually take over and the other ones will diminish. So these little neurons in your brain, they're incredible. Wait till you see the little visual. They're so cute. They've got these little like finger things on the end and they just reach to each other and they're just waiting for connection. So if you offer the connection by starting something new, they're excited for that. They're ready, especially after injury. Your brain is super ready to create new neural pathways. So it's super fun. So with repetition, they solidify. Remember, tiny ripples make waves. And so what I mean by that, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory, but when you start something so small and you continue doing it, like a water drop. Okay, or let's just say you throw a pebble into a still pond, right? And you see the ripple. But then you throw another pebble right in the same spot, right? The ripple gets bigger and then bigger and then bigger. And if you continuously keep chucking, before you know it, I mean, reality, we're not going to throw pebbles in and create waves. But the analogy is those ripples will eventually become bigger and bigger and bigger, and they make waves, and waves is where your life changes. So that's what we want. That's our goal. You don't need to feel fully safe to begin. This is so important because so many people think that in order to start working on your mindset and your inner work and all of that, a lot of people push just nervous system regulation. They feel like they have to be a certain point before they can start, and that's not true. You can work on them all simultaneously, and I know that sounds overwhelming and a lot, but it's not. It's just one system that is all connected. So there are gentle things that you can do to add to your day every day that, are going to simultaneously help your mindset shift, simultaneously help you understand those traumas and the things that you've been through and the emotions. And simultaneously, at the same time, you're working on your nervous system. So it's not like you have this great big huge task ahead and now you got to break it down and work on your nervous system, then work on your mindset, and then work on your inner. It's one continuous, it's one thing that you're working on all at once. It's just like if you can picture like gears, clock gears or whatever, those little ones that, you see them next. I don't know how to explain it, but they're next to each other and they're little gears, and they piece together and make the system run. That's all this is just three different parts of the system that all interlock together to make us a smooth system. So we all start somewhere. So you don't need to feel, you don't need to have a base of where you're going to start. Like, okay, well, I can't do this until my nervous system's regulated. And now I got to do my nervous system. And that's not how it goes. So just get started. And that's why you're here. And I'm so proud of you. Like, it's so great. Most of us start here, and that's all that matters is that you start, period. So down at the bottom here, I have a safety scanning exercise, which I love. My speech therapist introduced this to me. I was in occupational therapy for about 2 years, and my doctor decided, you know what, like, let's try something else. Have you ever considered speech therapy? And I thought speech therapy was literally A is for apple, B is for bear, that kind of thing. And it's not at all. Speech therapy, especially with my particular therapist, Kim Schulenberg over at Delaware Neuro Rehab, she's very in tune, and very, very centered, very natural. She does yoga and teaches yoga. And so when I started with her, one of the first things that she taught me was self-acceptance. Just learning how to accept yourself, the small wins like we were just talking about. We're going to go over that a little bit deeper later on, but um she really showed me nervous system regulation, and a lot of that was through somatic movement, which was taking a walk, just getting your body movement. Even I would go into her classes. Sometimes it was virtual, sometimes it was in the office, but she had chair yoga for those of us that are unsteady with, injuries, brain injuries, ABI, TBI, stroke, and any other neurological balance issues, or not balance issues. Yeah, balance issues, because we couldn't stand to do the yoga. So anyway, we did we did a lot of that. And one of the things that we would do on a regular basis every time we started, and something that she taught me how to relax my body, was a body scan. And so she taught me to do, a body scan from bottom to top or top to bottom. And to be honest with you, I can't really remember if it's just one or the other, but I always start at my feet for whatever reason. I start at my feet. And you do a little scan from your body, right? You're gonna start down at your toes. If you have this printed out and you're following along and not on the computer, little guy on the left, his little feet are cut off, but it does say, feet down there. So you start with, like, your toes, and you don't have to do anything. Literally just feel your toes, feel how your ankles feel right now, feel how your knees feel, your hips. Just move your way up the body, everything. Notice any, tightness, any pain, anything that's in your body, right? So then eventually you're going to get to the top of your head. Now we're going to go down. This is what I like to do. I like to go back down to my toes again. And as I come out, now that I'm aware of where the tightness and where the uncomfortableness is in my body, I start at my toes and I bring it up. And every single spot along the way that I feel tenseness, rigidness, anything pain, I relax it. And by the time, see, I just did it now, I relax my whole body. By the time you're done, it's a nice deep breath, because your entire body, your jaw, the jaw tightness is huge for me. So as I do my body scan, is the minute I loosen up on that jaw and my shoulders, I get medical Botox in my face, head, neck, and shoulders. And I also get a nerve block in the back of my head, from my whiplash and my accident. But it still tightens up, even though I don't feel the sharp pain anymore. I can still feel my body tensed up. So just enough to relax it, even if the medication is keeping you comfortable. Relaxing your body is so important to do. So that's why we love to do body scans. It gives you an idea of how your body is on the regular, all the time. And then it gives you an idea of what it is that you're looking for, what the feeling is that you're looking for in your body, that relaxedness. And then as you go along, again, just like anything else, repetition, you'll find yourself sitting there and not really thinking about it. And you're automatically going to be in tune with your body. And you're going to notice, like, shoot, my shoulders are tensed up. Like, let me fix that. And you can go and you can, take care of that. Or jaw. Again, for me, it's my jaw all the time. I'm always tensed up in my jaw. And if I just remind myself, like, remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth, loosen up your jaw, like you're okay, everything relaxes then. Every muscle in my neck and my head and my shoulders. So body scanning is a great way to become aware of your body and aware of how your body is reacting, and the natural state of your body. Your natural state is your first scan. We want your natural state to be the second scan, the relaxed. But anyway, so is there any place that feels even slightly softer over another? Feeling unsafe can show up in certain parts of the body and can feel like pressure or tenseness in certain areas, and softer or more relaxed in others. Consciously relaxing those areas will begin to reprogram through repetition, and it's whoa, through repetition, that it is okay and safe to loosen and soften them up. I do this anytime I notice my shoulders and jaw is tense, which are where I feel it most in my body. Being aware allows you to catch it and start changing it. Of course, it takes some time, but over time, it just happens naturally. This is a super helpful tool to keep on you that will help you relax when you need it the most. Once it becomes routine, it feels so good when the reminder automatically kicks in and that deep breath of relief happens, allowing your body and mind to both settle immediately. So that's a really fun thing to play with, because again, as you go along in your journey, you're going to notice the tenseness is less and less and less. So um yeah, I'll see you in lesson 2.2.